the Tibetan emperor, Trisung Tezin, he invited, at that time, one of the top master of Nalanda, Shantarakshita, very old. But he invited. Then Shantarakshita reached Tibet. He advised to Emperor Trisung Tezin, since you have your own language, your own script, so now should translate from Sanskrit or from Pali, so on. So then, eventually, you see, also the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, very much they or tradition, or like Nalanda, we extensively use logical approach. So, the Nalanda tradition, even Buddha himself, you see, made clear, "Oh, my follower, monks, nuns, should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation." So he, you see, show us the investigation, logical approach is important. So the Nalanda master, like Nagarjuna and Aryasanga and Digna, Dharmakirti, Chandakirti, Buddhapalita, all these Nalanda master, you see, their sort of way of thinking always investigate. Even Buddha's own word, if you find some difficult to accept because some illogical, then we have the right to reject Buddha's own word. Like Nagarjuna, reject some Buddha's own word. That's something great. So the concept of secular, some sort of also the philosophical things or logical things which mentioned in Buddhist text, you should consider academic subject rather than just you say, "Oh, this is part of Buddhism or taught by Buddha, we must accept." Not that way. So therefore, you see, India's concept, the secular way. So consider all these subject as an academic subject, not religious subject. So religion, individual matter. But this knowledge is knowledge for everybody, particularly now today's world. These ancient Indian knowledge, based on karuna, ahimsa, these world need. So different religion, that's personal matter. But these concepts are something relevant for humanity. So I'm very, very happy having this meeting. And then half joke, over 1,000 years, we as a chela of Indian Guru. Now today, Indian Guru I think, much neglected in this knowledge. So now, traditional Indian gurus, chela, now have to act like guru. So in any way, now real sort of point is now today's world, lot of problem. Many problem, essentially, human beings, our own creation. You see, nobody want problem. You know why we create a lot of problem? The reason, you see, our thinking, not sort of what's the wise or related with ahimsa, karuna. So therefore, now this time, the 1,000-year-old India's sort of thought, karuna, ahimsa, now must not only preserve, must sort of revive, and on the basis of secular way. Other country, you see, different tradition, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and so on. That's their personal religion. But as far as concept of ahimsa and karuna is concerned, is common for every human being. So now, I always feel India in modern time. Now look, India, I think two most populated nations, China and India. This country, comparatively, very peaceful. And all major world religious traditions live together in this land. For example, you see, in Muslim country, Shia and Sunni fighting. In this country, I never heard problem between Indian Shia and Sunni. Like that, I never heard. When I heard our neighboring country, some problem between Shia and Sunni, I surprised. So therefore, the India's 1,000-year-old tradition, you see, ahimsa, karuna, is the really basis of happy society, happy country. So now, India should pay more attention and show rest of the world the religious harmony and according principle of ahimsa and karuna. So now our Indian brothers, sisters, is now in previous century, Mahatma Gandhi ji, you see, show world ahimsa. Now I think we follow that and combine with karuna. And then secular way, you see these different philosophical sort of also the ideas. Now India's philosophy is that nothing exists objectively, independently. It is very close sort of thinking. The kasa.
Quantum physics.
Quantum physics. You see, quantum physicists they say nothing exists as appears, the external thing, material thing. So there is a big gap, appearance and reality. That's a quantum physics, they say. That's very important. You see, most of the negative emotion, such as anger or jealousy, too much attachment, you see, these, based on appearances. So, in order to reduce these negative, strong emotion, which is based on appearances, thinking deeper line, then nothing exists as appears. That's exactly the Indian ancient philosophy mentioned that. Like late Raja Ramana, once he told me the quantum physics in the West, it is new. But this country, he told me, over 2,000 years ago, already developed the quantum physics. And then he recite some Nagarjuna's, some verses of Nagarjuna's text. It is very true, very true. So India, in these deeper level, in order to tackle emotion, a subtle way, I think India's tradition is very useful, very helpful. And meantime, on a secular way. So now that I always see now telling these days, for example, hygiene of physical already exists on this planet, much sort of developed. Now hygiene of emotion, only India's tradition, including other religion also. There's other religion, not much talk about, you see, what's the mental, how's the kasa?
Mental hygiene. Hygiene of emotion.
Hygiene of emotion. Ka, right? So now, as I mentioned earlier, now the world really facing some crisis about emotion. So in such sort of case, India's 1,000-year-old tradition can help through education way, not religious way, strictly based on secular. So one of my commitment is a revival of these ancient Indian knowledge, how to take care of peace of mind on the basis of ahimsa and karuna. Now, I'm sort of fully committed revival of these ancient Indian knowledge or secular way. So now, questions. Now questions. Any question?
Yes. Thank you so much for the answer. And for the first question, I would like to invite Srijan Nayak from Delhi Technological University, India, to ask his question.
Greetings, His Holiness. My question is, although the purpose of education is to gain knowledge, I can't just help thinking of marks when I see others scoring higher. How do we aim for gaining knowledge from the education, refraining from succumbing to the competition?
The sense of competition, you see, actually two kind. One, you see, in order to promote knowledge among students, among people, you see, you try to be first, top, and show them and to pursue them. That kind of competition is positive. Another negative competition, in order to you become first, actually create a problem to other, try to cause the behind. That's wrong. So every human action, you see, much depend on motivation. Since sincere motivation, compassionate motivation, combined with a wider perspective, then sometimes action appears a little bit negative, but because of motivation and utilize the wisdom, so then it could be very positive, very helpful. Okay. So competition is necessary, particularly when we study the philosophy or logic, including myself, when I carry final examination, there's some kind of I should be first, and other they try to sometimes to see even cleverness, a little bit cheating also. So these are basically, you see, sincere motivation and good purpose, no problem. Okay. And you see, Dignac and Dharmakirti, this logical sort of approach, you see, if you're too honest, then the difficult. So you should be more clever, according the debater sort of thinking, debater's thinking. Then accordingly, sometimes you need little sort of cleverness. I also do that. Like that. So all this depend on motivation. Okay. Then next question.
Thank you, His Holiness. The next question is from Bhardendra Dubey, a student from JP Institute of Information Technology, Noida.
Greetings, His Holiness. My question is, what is the relation between physical and mental wellness, and how do we obtain a balance of both in our lives? Thank you.
Physical health, mental health, very close link. We usually say the physical health, some part, your blood, your sort of certain physical element not balanced, then difficult. But you see the physical now, for example, the high blood pressure, very much related with mental peace. Mentally, peace, not much anxiety, not much sort of fear. Then the blood pressure, these are very low. So peace of mind, mental level completely restful, that also, you see, great effect for physical health. Okay. So now these days, you see some illness because of too much anxiety, too much anger. So now, mental health very sort of related with physical health. And some cases, of course, the physical illness disturb our mind. But many cases, mind peaceful. And then automatically body element also goes smoothly. Like that. Okay. So now, as I already mentioned, the Indian tradition, you see, the logical way to keep karuna, ahimsa, is the best way to keep peace of mind. That automatically help physical health. Okay. I think I can, of course, not nice, but some relevant here. I'm now 87-year-old. 87-year-old. Whole my life, you see, difficult. When I was in Tibet, a lot of difficulties. And then India, when we reach India as a refugee, there are a lot of problems. And mainly, you see, inside Tibet, a lot of problems because of Chinese suppression. And one way, Chinese ruthless suppression, Chinese communist, and one way, Tibetan determined. But we, even you see, thinking towards the Chinese, those also the hardliner, as we consider them as a human brothers, sisters, and actually is our neighbor. For example, one Tibetan monk who spent 18 years in Chinese gulag, Chinese prison. I think in early 80, you see, he found opportunity come to here. Then we talk, since I know him before 59, I know him very well. So I asked him, what kind of life, 18 years in Chinese prison. He told me, occasionally he faced some danger. I thought danger on his life. Oh, what kind of danger? And his answer is danger losing compassion towards Chinese. So he feels, you see, keeping compassion towards your enemy is very essential. So he considers losing compassion towards the troublemaker, he considers very dangerous. So as a result, you see that person very peaceful. Like that. So the Shantideva, once you see, in his writing, he mentioned, your enemy is best teacher. You can practice patience and many good things from when you face some problem with your enemy. So enemy is best teacher. The Shantidevas, the
Writing.
Bodhisattva Charya Avatara mentioned like that. Actually, you see, training of our mind make distinction, destructive emotion and constructive emotion, then constructive emotion is direct sort of weapon to reduce destructive emotion. So self-centered, selfish is the key factor for problem. For that, counterforce is altruism. As I already mentioned, you see, karuna, altruism, is the antidote of self-centered, selfish. Then another thing, the 1,000-year-old, you see, India's thinking, things does not exist as sort of independently. The Sanskrit word patitta samuppada. Things exist due to a different factor, interdependency. So that concept very helpful, you see, to reduce the things exist as appears, though appears something independent. The reality, due to other factor, including your own viewpoint, you see, creates different reality. On that basis, then angers, attachment, fear, all these negative emotions, you see, come. So therefore, these two practice. One we call upaya sight, that's karuna. One praja sight, nothing exists as appears, as independently exist. Things are interdependent. So these ancient Indian, also the knowledge, these very, very useful, you see, to keep our mind calm. Even you see difficult circumstances, you can keep your mind calm. So as I mentioned briefly, I myself also student of this great Indian master. I practice, so you see, I can keep peace of mind. When I heard some problem, some sort of suppression in Tibet, you see, I can pray those those Chinese officials, Heartliner officials. I especially, you see, pray for them like that. These are very helpful, you see, to keep peace of mind. With that, you see, it seems now I have no blood pressure, always low. That also some sort of connection, my peace of mind. Okay. I never touch tranquilizer. My mind always is peace. All this, I believe, the Indian sort of thought, ahimsa, karuna, these really makes my mind more calm. That also, you see, affect my physical condition. Okay. Now, next question.
Thank you, His Holiness. I would next like to invite Gitesh Budhiraj from Balbharti Public School, Pitampura, India, to ask his question.
Namaste, His Holiness. My question is, how can one be satisfied with what one has and not care about what others have got? Thank you.
I think the material things, including your own good name, all these, you see, too much sort of grasping, my, that brings more trouble So contentment is very important. Then, once you have the practice of contentment, then it's other sort of, what's the, kasota, longju kare.
Wealth.
Others, welfare, ka, welsa, ka.
Wealth now.
Then, certainly, no sort of desire or other sort of, what's the thing, like that. So, firstly, important, we should know the inner value. The material thing are secondary. If we too much emphasis about material value, or your own case, no contentment, always want, then since you too much sort of also the grasping the material thing, then others sort of material also sometimes you develop some desire like that. Okay. Now next.
To ask the next question, we have with us Julia Riley from Rice University, Houston, Texas.
Greetings, His Holiness. I have taken a class at university on Buddhism, and I'm learning about the middle way, which has really changed my view on life. However, I still have trouble reconciling absolute truth with relative truth and discerning when to interpret my life and the decisions I make through one lens or the other. If you have any wisdom about this conflict, I would love if you could share it.
Now you mentioned here true truth. Kasa.
Absolute.
Ka.
Absolute.
Absolute truth and conventional truth. That is actually the mainly you see also the philosophical field is always make a distinction to truth. But then our daily sort of life. Now, for example, as I already mentioned, there is differences, appearance and reality. Now, reality we refer kasa,
Ultimate truth.
ultimate truth, and appearance is the conventional truth. There also, you see, many different levels. You see, due to different sort of mental sort of investigation. Now, for example, now Indian, generally Indian tradition, Atma is more or less ultimate truth. So this was the usual sort of feeling of self is kasa.
Self is separate from conventional truth.
Conventional truth. Yes, this is here. Nobody deny, argue. But then the life after life. And also, you see, we usually you see, we can easily say, this is my body, this is my mind, where is I? That's 1,000-year-old investigator, where is I? And since, you see, Indian tradition, previous life, this life, next life, So obviously this body at time of death no longer. So the Atma, the some sort of also the basis of identity of I, which is more or less independent from this body, that we call Atma. Now, among Indian tradition, particularly as a Buddhist philosophy, where is Atma? So, Buddhists believe Anatma, Atma, Anatma. Anatma, no independent, also the I or self, but self designated on the combination of body and mind, particularly mind. Now here, the mind, the five senses of organs, then sixth mind, chit, mental mind,
Mental consciousness.
ka,
Mental consciousness.
mental consciousness. So all these negative emotion, positive emotion, mainly is related with sixth mind, chit. So all emotions related with chit mind. The eye consciousness, hear consciousness, smell consciousness, all these are the something like also the service,
Like a medium.
like a medium, or you say the serving the main mind, chit. So these eye consciousness, ear consciousness, no self-sorority, kasoda. No power to designate. Just you carry the message. Then sixth mind judge. This is good, this is bad. Then accordingly, too much grasping. And then dislike, anger, or jealousy, all these things happen. And something positive and attachment, like that. So the grasping things firstly appears, then grasping.